Jamie Warner at LV Fight Doc says, do you think Dom is deserving of a title shot? Of course, speaking about Dominick Cruz facing Henry Cejudo. And it's an interesting argument to have because there's two ways to look at it. I mean, number one, you just say, does the guy deserve it based on his, career and what he's accomplished? And I'd kind of say, yeah. I mean, yes, he's coming off a long layoff. Yes, he's coming off a loss, but he's widely regarded as the best bantamweight of all time. So with that in mind, I think you have to give him certain opportunities that you might not afford a contender who has accomplished less than he has. And then when you look at the specific environment that's going on right now with the bantamweight division, I think it gets even a little more clear. Marlon Moraes is up there, but he just lost to Henry Cejudo. Corey Sandhagen, a little bit new to the division. He's got an argument. Aljamain Sterling, I think, definitely has an argument, but Aljamain, of course, has said, listen, I can't train properly during the pandemic. And then you got Peter Yan, who'd like to be in there as well, but I think there's some visa issues and travel issues for him. So, when you really factor in the whole thing, listen, you can make the argument that Dominick belongs in there regardless. But when you really look at the specifics of what's happening, I think you have to say, yes, you know what? He does deserve it. Sizzle Z, who says, do you think lack of fans or noise makes a big difference for the fighters? Obviously referring to UFC 249 here, as well as the 2 Fight Night cards that will follow it. By the way, quick shout out to NOFSHS, who also said, how does each fighter feel about fighting with a crowd? Does it affect them? Well, listen, of course, this is going to be individual for every fighter involved, but I can tell you as a whole, most times when you talk to fighters, they say, listen, I don't even hear the crowd once we get underway. All I can hear is my corner. I'm so dialed in to hearing their directions and what they have to say. So I really don't think once the fight gets going, it's going to have much of an impact on it. I think the intensity of the fights kind of speak for themselves and kind of what you have to do while you're in there. Now, what I am worried about is, will there be any fighters that don't have that extra little focus, that little bit of adrenaline, that energy that the crowd brings you as you're making your way to the cage? I mean, I got to think that has you laser focused and hyper dialed in. A cage fight should do that anyway, so maybe it won't be an issue. But I do wonder if the lack of a crowd, kind of that flat environment as people are walking, have an impact. Now, of course, some of these people have done this before, whether it be on the Ultimate Fighter, whether it be on Contender Series, but most of the people that have done it are now at the highest level of their careers, so they won't have done it in this type of meaningful bout. It's interesting. By the way, while we're talking about how things are playing out, the other thing I'm interested in with fighters here is cardio late. Everybody's been fighting under these, has been training under these pandemic conditions, and training camps have been a little bit different. So will things be a little bit different when they go late in fights? We shall see. All right, Muna Bear says, shout out to Muna, just what's up. But Muna Bear says, with Dana saying on record, no fighter will be forced to fight during the pandemic, and Stipe coming out this weekend saying he won't fight till things normalize, would the UFC be out of line to strip him if a vaccine or cure isn't found this year? I got to be honest. I'd hate to see it happen for Stipe Miocic. I mean, what he's doing as a first responder and saying, hey, I'm committed to those responsibilities first. It makes sense, and it's admirable. At the same time, the UFC does have a business to protect, and there are fights that need to happen. Daniel Cormier has a retirement fight. Francis Ngannou and Jairzinho Rozenstruik, man, they look fantastic as well. One of them is going to want to fight for a title as well. So the division needs to move forward. So I would say that no, the UFC wouldn't be out of line. I think what they'd have to do is say, and Stipe, when you come back, by the way, step into your title shot at that time. You will fight for the title again. And I think you'd want to hear, too, that, hey, and by the way, we didn't change your pay. We didn't try to dock you by saying, well, you're not a champion anymore. You're not getting paid what you were. No, if you're not a champion because you're attending to your community during a pandemic, you deserve that opportunity. Does the belt deserve to move forward? Sure it does. But if you step back in, I think you would deserve to do it on the same terms you walked out. Eamon Lee 5 says, any opportunities in MMA journalism? Asking for a friend. Listen, I get this question a lot, and I will say, listen, to be perfectly honest, it is hard to find well-paid positions in this industry. There's just not a lot of them where you can make a living doing it. That said, if it is your passion, chase after it. It is something that you love, chase after it. I'm very fortunate to have a job that I absolutely love, and it makes going to work every day very, very easy. So chase it if you can, but realize there's not a ton of positions you're gunning for. And what I always tell people is, hey, start local. Cover your local scene. Do what you can do there, man. Those local scenes, man, they're begging for coverage. They need it. And it's going to be great for you. And on one hand, you're getting a lot of practice, a lot of repetitions in there, so you can better your craft, whether it be writing, shooting video, taking pictures, blogging, doing a podcast, whatever it is you want to do. Start in your local scene. Get practice at it. You'll develop contacts. You'll certainly develop relationships. You'll start to build your Rolodex, and you'll get practice along the way. And what I always say to other people as well, see if you can try to find a unique angle at something. If you're going to try to go against the major organizations that are already, it's going to be tough. You're not fun. They are. So try a unique angle. If you can find a unique angle, maybe you can carve out a niche and, face it is sometimes crowded. And we'll stay on the journalism front moving forward. Anthony Sotelo chimes in. Are you contracted with the UFC to have first dibs on asking Dana and the fighters press conference questions? This is another question I get all the time. And no, there is no contract. There is no agreement. It's nothing formal. I've just been doing this a very, very long time, and I'm a familiar face to the team there. And, it's kind of become a little bit of a tradition or what have you. But, no, I'm absolutely not contracted to get the first question at any press conference. I just try to show up first and be the first person there. I try to work my butt off to get everybody's respect, I guess. And fortunately, they keep allowing me to have the microphone first. So I appreciate it. But no, there is absolutely no formal agreement in place. I guess it's just something that comes with tenure along the way. So anyway, listen, it's been a crazy couple of months without fights. Now we're getting back to it. UFC 249 is Saturday, and then 2 more fight cards right after it here in Jacksonville, Florida. And of course, we'll be covering it all on MMA Junkie. So keep it with us, and maybe you can contribute next week to our MMA Junkie mailbag.